Hey guys, this is Cam315 back at it with another video for you guys. And this is another Clippers playoff recap. And man, your Clippers today, we took down the Denver Nuggets in a pretty what I might say easy effort tonight. We blew them out. It was really tight in that first quarter, but at some point in that second quarter, that's when the Clippers broke away. And I think that's also when the exhaustion of the Nuggets finally caught up with them from their 7 game series. And then, you know, yeah. So the Clippers won by the score of 120-97. And we have a 1-0 lead on the Denver Nuggets. And I'm feeling good. One, I can sleep good tonight because of the win. And obviously, if you see in your lower right-hand corner, the game, the Marvel's Avengers, is coming out tomorrow. So I pre-ordered my copy, and I'm going to be getting it. I wish I had the PlayStation because I would have got the PlayStation version after knowing that Spider-Man's going to be in the game. But anyways, we're not talking about the video game Marvel Avengers. I'm here to talk about the Clippers. So, the Clippers, this series, man, I was a little bit, worried because, well, not worried, but I was like, okay, the Clippers should still definitely beat. They're going to be a problem, especially if Murray plays the way he's playing. But after I saw what he played like today, well, even though you can say a factor of it could be his exhaustion, the same thing as this. Compared to playing Utah's guards that, they don't really have a shutdown dude when you're getting like switched onto if you're be guarded by like Wilander, then getting switched on to Paul George, and then getting switched on to Marcus Morris. Eventually it's like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna get my shots off and stuff like that. So yeah, arguably I feel like this is probably the worst Denver could have played in this series. Now they have played like they did play bad in the previous series in terms of a few games in the series when they were getting blown out. But they did fight back. So the one thing, like I said, before I ended the video off, I said the Clippers better be prepared for game 2 because Denver's not going to let this game let another blowout game like this happen again. There's always still a chance they can, but some of the guys just weren't hitting their shots. Again, some of their star players, near the end of the game, they just rode the bench just to get some rest. So they'll be well rested and stuff like that. But anyways, let's get to it. Let's get to the team stats. Denver, they hit 35 out of their 83 shot attempts, while we hit 48 out of our 84. They were 42.2% from the field, while we were 57.1. They only hit 9 3-pointers, while we hit 10. The 3-point percentage was pretty bad, 25.5%. Usually they're knocking down 3-point shots. Well, if they do that, they're a pretty deadly team to face. We were 41.7 3-point percentage. They hit 18 of their free throws, while we hit 14. Their free throw percentage was 66.7, while ours was 82.4. We had 5 more rebounds than they did. We had 3 more assists than they did. They had more steals than we did. They also had more blocks. They had 5 blocks compared to our 3. The teams equaled amount in total turnovers. We had more points in the paint, which was actually a huge emphasis. Which even in the broadcast today, Mike Malone said he did not like that the Clippers were getting so many easy baskets in the paint and stuff like that. Also, as you can see, our largest lead of the game was 29 points. But yeah, anyways, like I said, stats-wise, for the team stats, it looked really good. Let's get to the box score for the individual players and break down each of their performances and stuff like that. So Paul Millsap, whoa. Hold on. I'm not trying to have this video play. It always happens. I probably should stop coming to ESPN. Anyways, Paul Millsap in 24 minutes had 13 points. He was a minus 16 on the court. He had 3 of his 6 attempts. He had 1 of his 3-pointers. He had 6 free throws. He had 9 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Excuse me. My goodness. Paul Millsap, if he plays like this, I'm not really worried. And to be honest, Paul Millsap doesn't really scare me. He's an aging player. And honestly, I don't see what I'm not afraid of Paul Millsap because I don't feel like he's not gonna have a breakout game. So yeah, we're good. Jeremy Grant had 12 points in 26 minutes. He was a minus 16 on the court. He was 4 of 8 from the field. He hit 3 of his 3-pointers. Hit 1 of his free throws. He had 1 rebound and 3 assists. Now, at first, when the game was starting off, I thought Jeremy Grant, when the game was starting off, he was cooking. He was hitting his shots. At the point in time, he was like 4 for 4 from the field. And by the time when he got back into the game after that hot stretch, he kind of cooled down a bit and he really was neutralized. Like he had 11 points, and then after that, the Clippers only held him to 1 point, which is good, which is very good. Jeremy Grant could be the X factor, guys. He could be the X factor in this series. I know some people could say Michael Porter Jr. might be the X factor, but listen, Michael Porter Jr. played like hot garbage. That's what happens when you try to, I guess you can say, talk trash or rip on the Clippers staff for not drafting you, and he comes out for most of the game had 0 points. Most of his points he got anyways was in freaking garbage time anyways. But Jeremy Grant, I believe he's the X factor because if he's hitting shots on a consistent basis against the Clippers team and, he becomes like a nuisance like certain players in the Mavericks were last series for the Clippers, he could be a problem. If he's getting more than 15 points to almost 20, yeah, that's going to be an issue. That's going to be an issue, especially if he's just going to be a spot-up three-point shooter and just hit everything. I'm glad to see that, the Clippers only allowed 1 point from this guy, and he didn't do any more damage. So, yeah. Nikola Jokic, he had 15 points. He was a minus 24 on the court, which I believe was the worst of the Nuggets because, one, he did play. If you look at this game, seriously, I know people were saying, yeah, Nikola Jokic, he's not a good defensive player. My God, this dude is terrible at defense. He does not commit to playing defense at all. I didn't watch much of the Nuggets Jazz series, but man, he was bad on defense. He seemed like he didn't even give a crap to play defense. They stood at the halftime performance when Draymond Green was breaking down his defense. Like there was a few times he could have actually tried to go get blocks out there, but he didn't. And stuff like that. In 30 minutes, he was 6 of 14. That's not going to last. Now, one of those shots was like, I swear, man, was one of the luckiest shots I've ever seen in just not only my life, but one of the luckiest shots in the NBA. But what do I say? Nikola Jokic, he just makes some of the luckiest shots in the NBA. Like the dude will just throw something up and it will still find some way to get into the basket. And it's like, dude, can this guy like not hit it? Another good thing is he was 0 for 2 from the 3-point line. If he's not hitting threes, he's not doing any damage, and that doesn't worry me at all. He was 3 for 4 from the free throw. He had 3 rebounds and 3 assists. Again, he could have had a block in there, but he didn't. Like the one Patrick Beverley drive. He could have easily blocked that shot, but he didn't, which, like I said, he plays no defense. Jamal Murray, he didn't play too good either. He had 12 points in 33 minutes. He was a minus 18 on the court. He was 5 from 15 from the field. Hit 2 of his 8 3-pointers. So that's another, like, Jokic, good. If we can limit him to not hitting 3-pointers, then guess what? That's a win. You'll take that. If he's hitting shots and he's freaking dropping bombs, essentially, on the Clippers, again, he's going to be a problem in this series. Jamal Murray, he's a talented player, but should he scare me? No, he shouldn't, especially if you keep switching on to him with Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris, Paul George, and even sometimes Patrick Beverley. He was clearly affected, which it seems like in the Utah Jazz series, he was easy pickings for anybody. So hopefully that doesn't happen to us. Gary Harris, who's recently coming off his injury, he had 5 points. He was a minus 17 on the court. In 24 minutes, he had 2 of his shots. He had 1 of his 3-pointers. He had 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 1 steal. And Gary Harris is the other thing too. If Gary Harris isn't doing much of anything, then he doesn't scare me much anyways. But if he's like actually being like, the back guard combo with Jamal Murray where he's hitting shots on a consistent basis, yeah, that's going to be a problem. But tonight he didn't do much of anything. Again, you could say this because he's coming off injury and stuff like that. Miles Plumlee, he had 4 points. He was a -1 on the court. He had one of his shots. He was 2 from 4 from the free throw line. Had 3 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He was fine for most part, but again, he didn't really do much of anything. Michael Porter Jr. was legit trash. Now, you could probably say it's probably because he probably didn't get into the rhythm because he came off the bench. But anyways, if you didn't catch what he said, he was kind of indirectly like trashing the Clippers, or he's saying that this series is a motivating factor for him because the Clippers didn't draft him because the doctor said he'd never play again. For a majority of this game, he had a huge, big fat O or a 0. Like I said, the 5 points he had in this game were mostly in garbage time. In 23 minutes, he was 2-9 from the field. He had 0 of his 3-point attempts, 6 3-point attempts he attempted. He was 1 from the free throw line. He had 6 rebounds and 1 steal. If Michael Porter Jr. isn't a threat and he isn't doing much of anything, again, that's another win, and we don't have to worry about him. It's bad enough. See, those are the 2 X factors for the the Nuggets. If Jeremy Grant and Michael Porter Jr. for some reason start heating up and go off, then that's going to be a freaking problem. Torrey Craig in 22 minutes had 6 points. He was a -21 on the court. He had 2 of his 3 shots. He had 1 of his 3-point attempts. 1 of his free throw shots as well. He had 3 rebounds and nothing else much to say. I'm gonna skip over some of these players only played garbage minutes. Monte Morris, who played substantial minutes. He had 12 points, -6 on the court. He hit 5 of his 11 shots. He was 0 from 3 from the field. He had 2 of his free throws. He had 4 rebounds and 1 assist. Listen, the Clippers defense came on and played really good. That's why some of these guys, as you see in the Nuggets stat column, they didn't particularly have a really good game for most of them. And the best part is they didn't let any of the Nuggets scorers score over 20. They only had 1 player have 15 points, which is Jokic. But other than that, no other player got 15 points or even 20 points, which means the Clippers played really good defense tonight. And they harped in on defense, and some people were worrying, since the Clippers were off, for a substantial period of time, and the Nuggets were coming in with momentum, the Clippers might lose this game because of it. Actually, it didn't really work in his favor for the Clippers. The Clippers were well rested, and because they're well rested, they got healthy again and stuff like that. Let's get to the Clippers individual stats, and then we'll end off the video. Kawhi Leonard in 32 minutes had 29 points, was a +20 on the court. He had 12 of his 16 shots. He had 1 of his 3-point attempts. He was 4 for 4 from the free throw line. 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 block. Man, this dude, Kawhi Leonard, playoff Kawhi is just a monster, man. Playoff Kawhi is a monster, especially when he gets to the mid-range area or inside the paint. That dude, he's legit money from that area, and it doesn't matter. And that's another thing about Denver is they really barely play any defense themselves. And again, like the Dallas Mavericks series, once Kawhi starts hitting shots from the mid-range area on a consistent basis, which, look, it's a done deal. When he gets to his spots, man, there's nobody that can stop him. Nobody on this Nuggets team that can stop him. Heck, nobody in the NBA can stop him when he gets to his spots. It's like Reggie Miller said on the broadcast today. Just like Kobe and Michael Jordan, when Kawhi Leonard gets to his spot, which is his spot where he knows, oh, this is the area where I hit most of my shots and I make them all. It's over, man. It's over. He's just gonna keep making them. Like I said, when he gets to that spot, nobody can stop him. Yes, I mean nobody. That includes LeBron James, you Laker fans. Marcus Morris Sr., who had another great performance. Marcus Morris Sr., man. The fact that, one, he's just getting all this hate from, well, it's mostly, now Dallas, I can understand. Also, and for us, it's also the Laker fans that are hating him for apparently what he quote unquote tried to do with Luka Doncic and try to hurt him regardless. I mean, also speaking of, Nick Wright needs to keep his damn mouth out of, or needs to keep the Clippers out of his damn mouth. I'll even keep certain players in the Clippers out of his damn mouth. If you didn't see, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you saw his tweet, it was kind of ignorant. Now I know the guy, well, I heard the guy chose the Nuggets over the Clippers, which again is an asinine statement from Nick Wright. Because again, what's Nick Wright's point? I keep saying Nick Wright is a LeBron D writer. If you don't know what that means, look up the book or look up the diction, look up the D word if you know what I mean. But this man Nick Wright, he constantly hounds on the Clippers for no reason. And again, the Clippers keep proving him wrong. And that's why I said when we get past this series and hopefully play the Lakers, hopefully we beat the Lakers to shut this man up for good. Because, you know, this dude, man, he just keeps talking. He keeps talking and acting like the Lakers are the better team, which I don't believe the Lakers are the better team. But this dude keeps doing it. He makes an indirect comment talking about Marcus Morris trying to hurt Luka Doncic. Instead of saying, hey, you know, Marcus Morris tonight is playing really good, effective basketball and stuff like that, and giving him the credit is due. But the first thing he brings up is Marcus Morris trying to injure somebody. Yeah, Nick Wright, go back to your closet and go come up with some BS excuse for tomorrow's take on First Things First. I don't even watch the show to begin with because the show is freaking trash anyways. So stuff like that. Well, but to be honest, most of these debate shows they have on these sports networks are garbage. Because the analysts sometimes are garbage because they're biased in everything they say. Anyways, Marcus Morris in 27 minutes had 18 points. He was a plus 24 on the court. Hold on a second, guys. No. Okay, sorry for that. Sorry for that. College stuff I had to deal with, you know, because I'm back in school again, if you guys didn't know. Okay, Zubac, even though he didn't do much offensively, he was really good tonight. Again, a good defensive player. And can I, again, another shout out to Reggie Miller. You know, there was some questionable things he said in this telecast. But Reggie Miller, can I just give him credit? And if you're a Clipper fan, you know you're probably like saying, thank you. Somebody finally understands what we're trying to say. If you didn't hear what Reggie Miller said on the telecast, he said he really does believe Ivica Zubac should play more minutes than what he typically gets. And it's like somebody's realizing how much Zubac brings to this Clippers team. Finally, he said it. Now, Zubac played 24 minutes. He played really good. He had 2 of his shots. He had 7 rebounds and 2 assists and 1 block. Zubac is great. I want him to still play more minutes on Jokic because, again, you know, Jokic isn't really bothered by Zubac, but Zubac still is a rim protector in there. And more than likely, most of the other smaller players who try to get into the paint do not try to do that. Or can't do that. Patrick Beverley, he returns here. And hopefully we don't get like a late injury report saying he's down with another calf injury. I hope Doc Rivers tells him just to stay off that calf and ice that bad boy up and, do not do much of anything on that calf, please and thank you. He was great tonight. Again, if people say, oh, he's overrated and stuff like that, you're wrong. This team is a completely different team when Patrick Beverley is on the court as opposed to when he's off the court because of injuries. Again, I don't know why people hate him, but if he was on your team, you would love the hustle and the mentality Patrick Beverley has. He had 8 points. He was a +8 on the court in 12 minutes because he had obviously a minutes restriction, and I think that was pretty good that he was on minutes restriction. He had 3 of his 5 shots. He had 2 of his 3 attempts. He had 6 rebounds and 2 assists. So he was good today. He was good today. Again, he's a Clipper that was much needed. You can definitely see what he brings to this Clipper. This Clipper team play definitely different when he's on the court, as well as the fact that the lineup changes look much more better when he is playing. My goodness, to say that we barely saw any Reggie Jackson this game, thank the Lord. Jeez. That's all. That's all. That's honestly all I gotta say. But Patrick Beverly was great tonight. So hopefully we don't get like some revelations on Saturday that he's not good to go game 2. Like I said, he made like a burst of a layup, and you could just see the burst. And I'm like, oh yeah, he looks 100%. He looks healthy again. So hopefully the Clippers take it easy on him, and hopefully he does not get re-injured again. Paul George had another pretty good, effective game, even though his field goals weren't all too much, but he was good today. He had 19 points. He was plus 23. He was really good on the defensive side of the ball. Like he was really like going for steals and stuff like that. In 33 minutes, he was 6 of 13 from the field. He had 2 of his 3-pointers. He was 5 from 7 from the free throw line. He had 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Like I said, you know, he did what he did. He's still being aggressive to the basket, which I like to see, as well as he really is out there, contributing on defense. I loved when he was hustling for steals on defense. It was really freaking good to do all that stuff. And yeah, I was happy. Jermichael Green, again, I go for Patrick Patterson because he played garbage minutes. Jermichael Green had 7 points. He was -1 on the court, but I still think he did good. In 21 minutes, he was 3 of 6 from the field. He had 1 of his 3-pointers. He had 7 rebounds and 1 assist. Solid play. Montrezl Harrell, I would say, probably had his best game of the bubble. At 15 points, he was +7 on the court. He was 5 from 11 from the field. He had 5 of his 6 free throws. Had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Montrezl Harrell is playing like this. Hey man, if he's playing like the Montrezl Harrell we know, then yeah, well, I'm fine with that. I'm not gonna speak much of Reggie Jackson. All the other thing I can say is Reggie Jackson didn't play much. Good, because we don't have to see his defensive liabilities for legit 20+ minutes. I'm fine with that. I'm not saying Reggie Jackson can't play, but it felt like to me Reggie Jackson hardly played this game. You want to know why? Because Patrick Beverly's out there. Lou Williams in 24 minutes at 10 points. He was a +16 on the court. He was 5 from 9 from the field. He hit didn't make any of his 3-point attempts. He had 4 rebounds, had 4 assists, and he was fine. Landry Shamet had 4 points. He was 2 of 6 from the field. He had 2 rebounds and 1 assist. He was a +3 on the court. Again, the Clippers had a pretty good all-around performance, really. They had a pretty good all-around performance. And as I'm ending off this video here, my thoughts on the game today, like I said, it was a good played game. The Clippers came out, there was a back-and-forth battle in that first quarter, but then the Clippers turned it on in the second quarter, and then the game was essentially over by then. They really turned it up on defense, and then because they're turning it up on defense, the defense converts into offense, and then, yeah. So the Clippers, they looked really good here in this game 1. Now, who knows what could be said for game 2. If they play like, and this is my thing, if the Clippers play like they played in game 1 and replicate what they did here in game 1, they might honestly sweep this series against the Denver Nuggets, and they'll just be waiting on the Lakers-Rockets series, which starts tomorrow. And hopefully, for our sakes as Clipper fans, hopefully the Rockets, drag that series out for like a huge factor. Heck, if the Rockets somehow beat the Lakers in the playoffs, I would still take it because it's like, okay, then it still is going to be a difficult challenge to play the Rockets, but I have much more confidence in playing the Rockets, in a Western Conference Finals. But like I said, this series, like I said, if Denver plays like they did today going forward and the Clippers just continue to play effective basketball, again, where they play really good defense and turn that defense into offense, this series might honestly be quicker than we all predicted. Like I literally thought this series would go 5 or 6 games. But if the Clippers keep it up and they play another strong game and they come out in game 2 on Saturday and play a strong game 2, um, you know, the series to say that it might wrap up in 4 games, to be honest, it might. It might. There's a chance, like I said, there's no guarantees. You know, like I said, like if you saw the Raptors Celtics game, you know, it looked like Boston was going to win tonight and just essentially finish that series off sooner rather than later. But then, Toronto hits a game-winning shot, and guess what? They're still alive in the playoffs. So, it's going to be interesting to see. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Clippers, come out the way they play in game 2. Again, if they just have the same energy and the same passion and the same defensive intensity like they did in game 1, I'm not saying they can cruise, but obviously Denver's going to play a much better offensive game. And they'll probably be much better rested, but still, I guess you can say, still be a little exhausted. But regardless, they'll have more time to prep for the Clippers because now they already got a game on us. So, yeah, but other than that, guys, that's really it. So I'm going to get out of here, and I'll catch you guys on the next video, which will be Saturday. I don't know if it's Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. But yeah, Saturday is the next Clippers game, and that's when I'll bring the next playoff Clipper recap. So till then, guys, hopefully you guys are having a great rest of your night. So if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this Clippers win. Do you think this series could end up in a sweep? As well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Clippers playoff recaps. But again, guys, like I said, I'll see you guys Saturday, and hopefully you guys have a great rest of your night. Also, to college students who are either returning to college or if you're a freshman entering to college, hopefully you're, well, tomorrow's Friday, but hopefully your first week of college is going well. I'm in my senior year of college, and I don't have no classes tomorrow, so I actually get the off day, which means, again, I can play Avengers all day and chillax for a bit. But other than that, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next video, and hopefully you guys having a great rest of your night. Go Clips.